Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. This is going to be a Bolo Books video featuring 4 different titles. But before I get to that, I just need to say something. And you're thinking, when has that ever stopped you before? I am sure that 99.9% of you do not tune into my channel to hear a Harvest 2024 or crop report. But if you would indulge me, I do need to talk about that a bit, if only to explain my state of mind. Now, I consider myself a mature, well-balanced, even keel sort of person, not bipolar, not subject to, stages of euphoria and or debilitating depression, and heaven knows, have nothing but sympathy and empathy for anyone who does suffer with that. But I have to say, this is becoming demoralizing. Again, don't know when you'll be seeing this, but it's October 11th, and it's raining again. It's a gray, dreary day. And not only have we been, like, it rained yesterday as well. So that means that, we've been sitting, unable to combine for days. And just a very rudimentary explanation. The straw has to be dry enough to go through a combine. We've now purchased a $75,000 grain dryer, so the kernels themselves could be dried. However, the conditions to get the straw part, like wheat and chaff, be able to go through the machine is a problem in itself. But as if that wasn't enough, tens of thousands of migratory birds have settled on some of our fields and decimated the crop. So instead of picture a stalk of wheat with obviously the stalk and then the head part, which is, of course, has the kernels. The head is totally gone. So now we're talking to crop insurance adjusters. So, you wait for that guy to come out and have a look at the field and estimate the loss and put in a claim and wait for your money. Now, in other cases, the rules of the insurance rules are that you must combine the crop, then they come and measure the yield. And, of course, depending on the level of coverage that you have, that would determine how much of a settlement you get. And I gather that other than these wildlife, or whatever the terminology is, these, wildlife losses, they would then, on any other type of loss or reduced yield, they take an average of different fields, because of course every field is its own little ecosystem or microcosm. Yesterday, like, our machinery's old, but we're old too, so we've made the decision that we're not buying any $2 million combines. We will keep our old ones going. So rather than gigantic loan payments, we fork over money for repairs. Well, yesterday there was a service call here. The guy was here for over 6 hours. I don't know for sure because we haven't gotten the invoice yet. Hourly mechanic rate is probably around $200 an hour, plus traveling time, which would be a minimum of 2 hours. The part that he was putting in cost $1,200, and then he was he was probably hardly out of sight. Roy took the combine to the field just to make, to get a grain sample and test it for moisture and make sure everything is working right. Well, it turned out it didn't. It wasn't working. calls the guy back. Anyway, long story short, they did discover what had been done or not done, and that has been repaired. But now we sit. We're heading into, this is Friday, we're heading into the Thanksgiving Day long weekend in Canada, and the forecast is supposed to be really nice for Sunday and Monday. However, we've got now all this ground to make up with these 2 days of rain. So if I seem, well, number one, I need to I need to say that if you are a YouTube friend or acquaintance, please forgive my absence, watching your videos, commenting on your videos, engaging in any chats, or, you know, like on the Makers Market, I see there's a lot of stuff happening in terms of comments and people showing things and whatever. I get the notification and I cannot do that. Okay, pull yourself together. So let's distract ourselves with some beautiful books. This first one, now I don't know how to say it. This guy, French, I would say Rideau, Ferris Flowers. We'll pretend that we know how to pronounce his name. This book is big. Now I do have a digital in my, I don't know where even, 12 by 8.5. This man's specialty was, okay, so I open up to a peach. This man's specialty was roses. But look at these gorgeous full page illustrations. Now, let's see. How does this work? I'm trying to figure out if this description applies to this or the page in front of it. Oh, okay, I guess nectarine. So it's opposite. So I didn't realize that he had done all these fruits and vegetables. My familiarity with him was through the roses. And of course we will come to those as well. Gaillardia. This book, well, let's see. It's over 300 pages, so that is a heck of a lot of illustrations. Now, I just got these books, so I haven't even had a chance to flip through them myself. So I guess I could probably quickly find out what year this guy lived. This book is 1987, and the source of these books, okay, that's when just a minute. Pierre Joseph Rideau, blah, blah, blah. He died in 1840. This book ranks among the most elegant of the later works. Although relatively unknown. So anyway, let me keep showing you, because, oh, I forgot to turn on my lights. How's that on a gray day? Is that going to help anything? Well, it helps me see. I don't know about you. And I, apologize if the whole thing is not in the, in range here, because it is a big book and I can't really raise that camera or that phone much higher. That looks like a nasturtium. Yes, it is. I I almost want to spit when I hear the word nasturtium because of the crop failures I've had with those. Okay, here we're into the roses. Because of the crop failures that I've had with trying to grow nasturtiums lately, the last few years. But I mean, even though, now I suppose this is obviously a reproduction of originals, but even the sort of distressing and the foxing that is showing just makes it so, especially a page like that, just makes it so beautiful. This hydrangea, where was it? Of course, that's not the variety that I have. Reminds me that I have 3 beautiful hydrangea bushes that have been blooming their little heads off. The variety is called Limelight, which is sort of that paley ivory green color. Well, as it progresses into the fall, of course, it turns pink and burgundy-ish. So I did take some pictures, but not lately. So, and I haven't cut a single stem. Oh, peonies. Peony? Oh, no, camellia. Huh. I've probably never seen a camellia in real life. Okay, here we have a peony. Just unbelievably gorgeous. I have never seen a year where a person gets a second flush of flowers like delphiniums. Like, what the heck is going on? Of course, this is just a day or two after Milton ravaged Florida. Poppy. What in the world is going on with this weather? And if there is still a soul alive that can say with a straight face that this is normal, then introduce me, because I want to see that with my own eyes. This is not normal. None of this is normal. Anyway, I guess I should move along because I do have other books to show you and I don't want this to go on forever. I have a, in the 90s, I painted a white lily, and any of you who have done watercolors know that white is one of the most challenging colors to do because, of course, white in itself is the absence of color. So you only get any depth or dimension by using your shadows and so on. I suspect that one of these days that, well, maybe more closer to next spring, that will be one of the books that I put, or one of the paintings, sorry, that I put in my words and pictures. Oh my God. Sorry about that. That's the warning that the battery is running down. 13 by 9.5. This is even bigger. So this one, now is this the bird one or the Art of Bird Illustration by Maureen Lambourne. Beautiful. About 200 pages. Again, beautiful. I caught some news the other day, Edmonton news, and it seems that some kind of a nature, look at that peacock, that some kind of a nature group is proposing that Edmonton choose like a city bird. So I think there are 6 finalists, including blue jay and a magpie, and of course then somebody was doing man in the street interviews as to, well, what would you vote for? And anyone who's seen a magpie up close, and sorry, this cloth keeps falling down. I should have just used a hard surface for to cover my desk. The plumage is beautiful. It's like an iridescent navy black. But I think most people are annoyed by their sort of scavengery kind of behavior. And one of the ladies that they talked to hated all the squawking. What a strange thing is that? Oh, that's a peregrine? Huh. You can see the guy has the leather glove on. Oh, he's got something on his head. 1866. I'll speed this up a bit too. I didn't do a very good job clearing a spot for this video with these oversized books. The birds, I think I've said this before, we had black oilseed sunflower seeds in bird feeders this past winter. So of course those birds are kind of sloppy. They drop the seeds. Well, those seeds all germinated, and I had all these volunteer sunflowers growing. And I don't know if it's the nature of the variety or the fact that they germinated later in the season, but they didn't get very tall. So there may be 4 or 4.5 feet tall. And some of them have gigantic heads on them. So I thought, oh, that's great. Let them. Oh, I pulled probably 40 or more of them out because they were encroaching on the peonies, because of course they shouldn't have been there in the first place. Anyway, these heads are maturing on the stalk. Well, this morning I saw that a blue jay, a couple of blue jays, had latched onto, because of course the head is big and substantial, and they're just perched on top of the biggest heads, gorging themselves. Like, I think blue jays are lovely because of they're one of the most colorful birds that we get in our part of the world. But I think they're kind of bullies, and maybe take advantage of some of the smaller birds that come to feeders. And usually they can't balance themselves. These are the kind of guys, mallards, white geese, Canada geese, who have eaten all those wheat heads. Anyway, they kind of, speak of the devil, they kind of bully the smaller birds, but luckily they can't really balance themselves on the kind of bird feeders that we have. That's how I feel with those. That's what my eyes look like these days. Sorry, guys. Let's see, what's this illuminated part here? Oh, they're just drawing attention to the fact. Okay, seen from a book of hours of 1407, the birds that appear in the margins are swan, mallard, peacock, goldfinch, and heron. Gorgeous. French illuminated manuscript, circa 1350. 12th century. Snowy owl. Anyway, okay, that was The Art of Bird Illustration by Maureen Lambourne. So then This is like a similar thing. This is The Art of Botanical Illustration by Lise Debray. I think it's the same size. I won't bother mentioning. Look at that beautiful thing. Oh, I have gathered a posy of other men's flowers, and nothing but the thread that binds them is my own. Good quote. 1989. Now, I think, because these are, again, typically ancient, I wonder if they're going to show the dates. You'll probably be familiar with a number of them. Oh, that's a relatively new one. That's 1985. 1964, 1976. Jensen. Cyclamen. I just bought a cyclamen for myself recently. Those are great for a splash of color. I tried overwintering them once, but that didn't really work. Anyway, hopefully we'll get to some of the older ones. Doesn't say. 1921. So you can see that somebody's done a study here of the petals, the leaf, the whatever, the formation that they wanted to zero in on. Iris, 1932. Some cute little violas. No year on these. Sorry, I should maybe see if that one gave up the ghost altogether now. Let me turn that off. See if I can get this other thing lit up. Sorry, guys. I don't know if that helps anything, but okay. This is the third book, and I just have one after this, so maybe we'll limp through. I wonder, since I'm going to just switch these two lights and see if that makes a bit of difference. Now that side is in shadow. Why would I expect that this would go any better than the combining? Okay, so from here on it says 1900 until the present day. So we're going to see older stuff, going that way. Datura. I had a Datura once. Those are poisonous, I hope you know. Trumpet flower. That's a relative of the geranium. Or is that the Latin name for geranium? I don't know. Peony. I'm collecting stuff for Peony Journal. Alstroemeria. That's not the greatest illustration I've ever seen, but that is one of my favorite flowers. Like if I was, getting a flower arrangement or cut flowers. Actually, this year I had one in a pot. I didn't realize that you could buy them as a potted plant, but they are so reliable as a cut flower and come in a myriad of colors. Everything from white to red, yellow, orange, purple, pinks of all varieties. Now they're unscented, but they just bloom and bloom and bloom and bloom, and they look kind of exotic. They almost you could almost think you're looking at an orchid, but not an orchid flower. This is 17, I better speed up here. Oh, that's the same poppy we saw in that whatever his name is book. the first book I showed you. Here's another one of his flowers. Here's another one. Okay, so he got, what does it say? What does it say? Josephine. His name must be the best known in the world of plant portraiture for 3 reasons. Firstly, his work is excellent. He was at the height of, second, he was at the height of his creativity, at the best period of the engraver's art, thus making his work known and available to far more people than was previously possible. And thirdly, he knew and produced what was wanted by the average monsieur et madame. So he was catering to the market, I guess, would be a way of putting that. Magnolia. I think magnolias are beautiful. Haven't seen too many of real ones in my day, but... So this book seems to have a little bit more text than some of the other books. I like those tulip, I think they're called parrot tulips. Or maybe that the tulip one is, I mean the parrot tulip is the one with the fringe. 1801. Bougainvillea. I remember the first time we went to Mexico, and of course this is a vine plant, and it was growing all around the resort, and I couldn't get enough of it because it too comes in a variety of colors. And it just, you know, you leave Alberta in the dead of winter, you go to a tropical place and you cannot believe the color and the lushness. This is 1760, hand-colored engraving, 12 months of flowers. Cool. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Who thought that a thistle could be that? That looks like something that should be in a Halloween book with the caterpillar and the cobweb and the whatever that insect is. These dark backgrounds that obviously came from a certain period in time. Oil on panel, painted in the 1600s. This is a bit of an odd composition. The porcupine, a rabbit, whatever that other thing is, and some birds. Oh, that's strange. Mandrake. Circa 1120. 1787, and we're back to the beginning. So that, now we're going to end with something totally different, but just equally beautiful. Buttons by Diana Epstein and Millicent Safro. This one is just over 10, well, about 10 1/4 by 9-ish. Let's see what the... Oh, that's beautiful, and it looks like buttons. And these books, I acquired them through auction. And you know, the problem with auction purchases is that you get a lot of things you don't want, and you pay more because, well, usually you pay more because you want, you know, 1 or 2 titles, and then the rest are kind of, okay, acknowledged experts in the field. They've collected buttons for over 25 years, traveling extensively in pursuit of a single stellar button or a castle full of them. One of them has worked as a restorer and appraiser of fine arts and antiques. The other is a writer, lecturer, and consultant to museums, art houses, and publishers. So this book is 174 pages. Good night, sleep well. Again, most of these books don't appear to have been opened, so they are in absolutely incredible condition. So these are wooden buttons from the 60s, 70s. Fabric, probably first half of the 20th century. Oh, both the comforting slogans and the safe constructions suggest that these fabric-covered, machine-stitched buttons were worn on a child's sleeper. Although these buttons probably date from the first half of the 20th century, techniques for covering buttons by machine were employed in the U.S. from the mid-19th century on. And of course, this is an enlargement. Oh, and here are marquetry inlaid wood buttons from the mid-20th century. So there's probably a lot to be learned here. These are white plastic from the 30s, 40s. Humorously suggestive buttons with shapely women. Oh, images of blacks. Okay, the most pervasive and deeply entrenched stereotypes. Yeah, not good. But that was the time, I guess. Okay, these are paper buttons. Oh my goodness. It's not surprising that a period in which smoking in America was openly advertised for everything from diet to nerve control would produce buttons in paper and cardboard miniature reproductions of cigarette boxes. Buttons such as these were often sold in sets and can sometimes be dated according to the brand and style of the package. The Lucky Strike pack here, so that's that one, indicates the button was made after 1941 when Lucky Strike Greens went to war and the brand changed its wrapper to white. Wow. I would have never, if I wouldn't have seen it, I wouldn't have known. Hexagonal buttons, convincing depictions of dice, but striking abstract patterns as well. Variety of materials include bone, bakelite, glass, enamel, and bakelite. Plastic, wood, and metal, chiefly American, circa 1935 to 1960. So, ink, nib, the end of a pencil, those like chalkboards, little telephone, domino, boxing glove, horse head, lobster, compass. Huh, unbelievable. Oh, these are plastic, 30s and 40s. Okay, they introduced, so this Catalan Corporation introduced a new, or captured the plastic industry by introducing a new product chemically similar to bakelite, but which could be produced in over 200 dazzling, opaque, marbleized, translucent, and transparent colors. The apple and pear halves were designed by Marion Weber in the 1940s. Wow. Household dogs. So these are the late 30s, plastic. These are plastic, 1930s. Okay, by the early 30s, bakelite had almost completely replaced other plastics in the production of fashion accessories. Extremely versatile, it lent itself to fantastic shapes and designs and was produced in a range of vibrant, non-fading colors. Purse, fish, shoes, a matchbook. Oh, sorry. This applies to these guys. So 1930, exuberant buttons such as these proliferated in the economically depressed 1930s and provided an inexpensive and cheerful form of ornament. Bakelite buttons in decorative abstract patterns were typical of the period. So a book like this is not only eye candy, but it's also a reference, because if these ladies spent their lives, oh, look, Kate Greenaway buttons. Unbelievable. 19 enamel Indian. A Bombay artisan who produced a vast range of buttons for American collectors in the 40s and 50s. Okay, this is all plastic. I don't need to read you every caption, although you probably are interested in silk. Painted or printed American silk garter buttons. Huh. Bear the flapper features typified by such popular icons of the 20s and 30s as the movie actress Clara Bow and the cartoon character Betty Boop. Heart-shaped lips, Egyptian eyes, bobbed hair. Huh. So this is silk, early 20th century. Oh, decorated silk garter buttons were made for the fancy garters we worn below the knee on the outside of stockings from about 1910 to 1930. The example pictured is exceptional for the complete body formed out of laced ribbons. Wow. I better speed up. Okay, carded buttons, American, circa 30s and 40s. Cards showing buttons in situ were sold in 5 and dimes beginning in the early 20th century, probably intended to add visual interest to store displays, as well as to give the buttons an aura of fashion. Handsome Hollywood types in shirt sleeves are depicted, so those are all men, in brightly colored lithographs and date from the 30s and 40s. Humorous button cards. Didn't know these existed. I'm looking for a Valentine, but none of those jazz gluttons. I want a handy little miss who can sew on a few buttons. Rhymes with gluttons. Oh, wood and ivory. These are African. These are wooden. These are silver, Navajo. Enamel, probably French, circa 1900. Glass, probably French, glass. Silver, Danish and American, first half of the 20th century. Those are beautiful. Silver, American, mid-20th century. Kind of have that Art Nouveau look to them. Silver, English. Quite the box. Matched set of silver and enamel buttons in the original box from the English firm Liberty and Company, Liberty and Co., marked Birmingham 1904, L & Co. Phosphorescent blue and green colors of the peacock became the predominant color scheme of the Liberty style. Beautiful. Silver and pewter, English. Porcelain, English. Satsuma, Japanese. Mosaic. Oh, mosaic. Early 20th century. French enamel. Look at that poppy. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Glass and brass. Paper. Three-dimensional television button of printed paper mounted under glass attests to the growth and popularity of button collecting in recent decades. Henry Wessel, the husband of an avid button collector, began making buttons in 1952 specifically as collectibles and not for wear or use. Other buttons in his repertoire include religious scenes, peacock feathers, political figures, and his grandchildren. Except for the very earliest examples, they are signed with an HGW on the back. Well, I don't imagine we're about to stumble across any of those at a thrift store. Brass and vegetable ivory, whatever the heck that is. Scarce buttons. So those are the, obviously the 7 dwarfs. The dwarfs below appear on buttons of celluloid and vegetable ivory, a material made from the nuts of the corozo or tangay palms, and represent 2 differently colored sets. Plastic, okay, so that's Art Deco from the 1930s. Enamel, French and English. Brass and silver plate, French. Silver. I have some, I think they're replicas though, because, yeah, I think they're replicas. These sorts of buttons. So far I haven't done anything with them. Silver, English, and French. Those are beautiful with those ladies' heads on them. Glass, Czechoslovakian or Austrian. French glass. Aluminum. That's late 19th century. Marcasite. Yeah, there's so much information here. Paste. Although 19th century pastes were appreciated in their own right, they were also used to simulate precious stones, especially diamonds. The development of flint glass, a colorless and highly refractive glass, is attributed to this guy in 1675. The buttons pictured combine diamond-like paste stones with enamel and sumptuous designs. The 2 in the lower right are set in gold, the rest in silver mountings. So imagine what that would be worth with the price of gold and silver. Italian mosaic. Oh, those those animals. Mosaic. Pietra dura. Semi-precious stones. Blah, blah, blah. Set on a base of black marble. Okay, or Florentine work. So, of course, that's Italy. Oh, my goodness. Okay, what have we got? This is dimensional. Ivory. Ivory, Alaskan. Ivory, Alaskan. Ivory, Japanese. Ivory, Japanese. I better speed up here. Satsuma, Japanese. And oh, look at how delicate that is. I don't know what Satsuma is, but oh my goodness, look at this. These are Japanese. Although these buttons, in quotes, were not originally used as fasteners for garments, they are prized and collected. I can't say those words. Various materials. Oh, these are all dog buttons. Look at that bulldog. Brass. These are all sort of celestial. Enamel. Brass. Mother of pearl. Oh, I wonder if we'll get a little lesson in mother of pearl buttons. These are all so darn fancy. I don't even know if they would cover anything as simple as those little white buttons that sometimes we're lucky enough to find. Okay, horn and inlay. Horn on horn and tortoiseshell buttons. Pressing the in, blah, blah, blah. Horn, tortoiseshell. 1880. Tortoiseshell. Again, dimensional. Shell cameo. Beautiful. Inlay. Technique of applying veneers or thin layers of iridescent abalone. Shell, tortoiseshell, ivory, and horn were used to decorate the surface of many small objects in the mid to late 19th and early 20th centuries. Although they were inexpensive to produce, the contrast between the various materials creates an opulent visual effect. And that's shell. Also, mother of pearl. And this is mother of pearl. And this is mother of pearl. Painting on ivory. Painting on paper and ivory. Painting on ivory. Painting on ivory, painting on ivory. Porcelain. Various materials. Aren't those just spectacular? Porcelain. Ivory. Porcelain. No, above porcelain, below enamel. Porcelain and enamel. Enamel and cut steel, French. Enamel, enamel. Enamel, 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 enamel. Enamel, 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 enamel. Say that 5 times fast. Etching. Look at those eyes. Early 19th century. Okay. Ceramic. And these are various materials. Kate Greenaway again. Kate Greenaway's garlanded children in country settings were an overwhelming success with the Victorian public and even earned the tempered praise of the famed 19th century English art critic John Ruskin. Not surprising, therefore, that many of the illustrations from her books and almanacs found their way onto buttons, or they are a particular favorite among collectors. This assorted group of metal, ivory, and mother of pearl buttons include identifiable Greenaway designs and probably a number of Greenaway-inspired figures as well. Cool. Mother of pearl, late 19th century. Enamel, enamel, enamel. Celluloid, that's these on the left. And these are tin types. Oh my goodness. Okay, tin types, also known as ferrotypes, are another example of 19th century technology applied to button making. Popular from the 1860s until the turn of the century, tin type buttons provided an inexpensive, portable form of portraiture and were worn by soldiers in the Civil War as mementos. The same photographic process was used at the time to produce political campaign buttons. Wow. Never knew that existed. Celluloid was developed commercially in the 1870s as a substitute for the ivory in billiard balls, and was often made to imitate ivory in button making, as well as in the manufacture of other small decorative objects. Wow. Okay, I gotta go a little faster. Paper mache. Wow. Paper mache. Oh. Okay, mesmerizing page of paper mache lacquer buttons is one of 80 monumental French sample books containing over 80,000 buttons. I thought I had a lot of buttons, acquired from the family of the late owners of the Albert Perron, whatever. Company was founded in Paris in 1825 and remained the foremost manufacturer of luxury buttons into the early 20th century. They kept a numbered sample of each new design it produced. The buttons were mounted on marbleized paper in bound leather volumes with heavy brass hinges. Still in mint condition, the buttons of enamel, pearl, fabric, lacquer, and metals were protected from the vagaries of time by padded chintz. Oh my goodness. Were protected from the vagaries of time by padded chintz sheets inserted between the pages. The significance of this collection lies in its encyclopedic documentation of the production of buttons from 1825 to 1890. Oh, aren't you glad I spit all that out? Oh, sample case of China calico and gingham buttons. Oh my goodness. That was from a French firm, and we're talking mid-19th century here. This guy's company dominated the world market for utilitarian China buttons from the 1850s to the early 20th century. His success was owed to the high production at low cost, as well as to his precocious sense of the importance of advertising his products. That is cool too, as are those. Ivory, enamel, gold, wow. Enamel, probably Irish and French, 18th and 19th centuries. Oh, this book can actually identify who these people are. An actress, a lawyer, a singer, a fictitious farmer. Yeah, poor guy. Enamel and gilt. Okay, silver, 18th century. Silver, 1810. Copper. Oh, they don't really look copper. Late 18th century. Silver. Wait. Oh, porcelain. Those are Danish. Oh my goodness. Silver, Austro-Hungarian, probably 17th century. That's those. These are paste, French and English. Wow. Painting on paper. Better not put that through the washing machine, eh? No washing machines. Painting on paper. Dressage. Ivory and paper. Ivory. Copper. Painting on ivory. Mother of pearl. Watercolor and pastel. Wow. Reverse painting. Mother of pearl, enamel, sulfide. That's these. Enamel and gold, mother of pearl. Semi-precious stone, 18th century. Agate. My goodness. My goodness. Decoupage. That's these guys. Reverse painting. Reverse painting. Reverse painting. What is this? Reverse painting. Drawing on silk. Enamel. Jasperware and cut steel. Carved ivory. Wow. Stone, ancient Near East. Although the first written record of buttons does not occur until the 12th century, button-like objects have been discovered in excavations in Egypt, Iran, and Greece. These so-called prehistoric buttons may not have been fasteners in the modern sense of the term. Nevertheless, as this group demonstrates, their construction often suggests that they were attached to fabric of some sort. Their similarity to modern buttons attests to the timelessness of good utilitarian design. I don't know how to say that. Mother of pearl, enamel and gold. And then there's just the table of contents page. Unbelievable. 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 Did I tell you what year this book was done? There's the title page. Buttons by Diana Epstein and Millicent Safro. 1991. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Cool. Glad that Poppy made it on the front cover. Anyway, guys, I will stop there. There might be more of these kind of Bolo books because, of course, I did get some other treasures with that auction, with some of those auction purchases. I'll probably be doing a Christmas one next. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm sorry that this has gone on so long, but hopefully it was a great distraction for you because it certainly was for me. Okay, bye-bye.